Just quickly, it's not that complicated a subject really. Tell us what a clawback is.
So traders get paid a lot of money on Wall Street. They make big bucks, and sometimes they lose big bucks. Up until recently, the traders had a pretty good setup for them, where they'd make a big bonus when their positions went well,
right.
And when the positions went poorly, they'd be shown the door, but they would still have a lot of money from the previous years. So firms, after the financial crisis, with a lot of regulator and government pressure, have put clawbacks into a lot of the pay policies.
Right, because it was a big issue in 2008 where people were saying, how can you pay these guys? They just tanked the entire financial system. And they said, look, it was in the contract, we have to pay them, right?
Yeah,
I mean, it was a big issue at AIG.
It was a heads I win, tails you lose problem. And so traders got rich in 06, 07, lost huge amounts of money in 08. Taxpayers had to foot the bill. Firms, stockholders, bondholders had to foot the bill. But traders made out okay. Now you have a situation with JP Morgan. You have a very interesting test case to see how serious firms are about actually doing these clawbacks, because for the first year or two, there weren't many cases for them to be used, and it became sort of a PR thing more than an actual pay policy. So you have these big losses at JP Morgan. The people who are responsible for them may have some of their pay clawed back. That's complicated by the fact, however, that they're still trying to get out of these positions, and some of the people who are most responsible for the losses are also kind of on the ground trying to get them out of the positions as well.
Right now, before I ask you, we're talking about Jamie Dimon was asked about this at the shareholder meeting. Right. And what was his comment?
His comment was that clawbacks were in the range of possibilities, somewhere between possible and likely. He suggested there is a good chance we could see clawbacks. That's the message we're getting from JP Morgan. The devil's in the details. How much do they claw back?
Who exactly are we looking at? Who might see their salary clawed back?
Well, there's a range of people. I mean, there's the Bruno Ixel trader, the one nicknamed the Whale or the Caveman.
How many nicknames does that guy have?
He's really stacking them up.
It's amazing.
Yeah. I don't know which one he prefers. I haven't heard that yet. But
okay, so he's one. Ina Drew, right?
Ina Drew is the senior person who made $15 million last year and was a pretty trusted lieutenant of Jamie Dimon with a stellar track record up until this blow up. Who left the firm, or who announced her intention to leave the firm this week. She could face a clawback, but these things are negotiated, and if JP Morgan goes too harsh, they might have a lawsuit on their hands. So they'll probably try to come to some kind of amicable settlement before she leaves.
Here's where this gets a little sticky. When this first came out, when you guys, when we first reported on it, JP Morgan totally downplayed it. Jamie Dimon called it a tempest in a teapot. They knew about the trades. They knew what was this. These were not rogue traders. Right. How do you justify now clawing back that money when you knew what they were doing and you clearly approved of it a month ago?
Well, two possible reasons on that. One is they didn't highlight the risk of the trade enough to senior management, or they basically supported the trade and were the closest to the trade. Now, that being said, senior management knew about the trade. Senior management looked into the trade, called the trade a tempest in a teapot. And senior management, of course, at JP Morgan is Jamie Dimon. It's an interesting question as to what happens to his compensation this year. Obviously, it's a small piece of a large bank, but it's been a big public hit. Most of the time, the way the CEOs deal with these situations is their current year pay gets docked. But the way this, the end of 2012, but the way this trade worked, it kind of carried from 2011 into 2012. It's not inconceivable that some senior people might have some clawbacks, but no one's really talking about that yet. It's still pretty early.